Globally, women are perceived not to be strong enough to run engineering businesses. But I believe if women are given a chance, they can conquer the world. I decided to start Tebogo Projects in 2012, which is a company specializing in steel engineering services, fabrication, repairs and refurbishments of motors and pumps, and we also do plant maintenance shutdowns. This is the industry that is male dominated. From the minute I started, I was required to prove myself that I can deliver, as per my male counterparts. So the journey was not so easy. It was a very difficult one. From 2012, I started knocking in different mining companies looking for opportunities. And I was always told that, do you have your own factory? Do you have qualified engineering, artisans that can work on projects? So I realized as a woman, you need to prove yourself twice, that you are capable. But it didn't stop me. I didn't give up. I knocked on doors. I started with a zero balance in 2012, looking for opportunities in engineering. Everywhere I went, they asked me, why are you so much into engineering? Are you sure it's your business? But I kept proving that, this is my passion and I would really do good in that kind of business. One day I went to one of the biggest mines here in Rustenburg and they told me that we want to give you a chance, but do you have enough capacity? Do you have financial backing? And I started knocking on government doors. I knocked for 4 years. I couldn't get funding, but I still had a goal and I still had a dream that one day I want to be in engineering. So I kept on looking for partnerships, collaborations, people that can help me to start up the business until I decided to look for, engineering companies that were already in the business. The only problem is that they were not complying when it comes to black empowerment and, triple BE, which is broad-based, black economic empowerment. So I decided to collaborate with them in order for me to learn the industry, to understand the dynamics and to really navigate through the mining space, because alone I couldn't open all those doors. 2015, they gave me my first opportunity, to start delivering. It was a huge order. I thought I was ready. At first, I didn't have trucks to deliver to the mine. Then I priced in such a way that, I was going to make a profit. But at the end of the day, I didn't make profit because I rely on outsourcing most of the work to people who were assisting me with, transporting the goods to the mine, as well as outsourcing some of the fabrication, because most of these mines, they wanted to come to my workshop to do evaluation, and they found that we are not yet ready to comply and compete fairly in the market. But that was an eye-opener for me. I went back to government. It took more than 8 months searching for funding. They was looking for business plans. They were asking me for financial projections. And, I went back and forth, but I didn't give up. I said to the mines, give me small projects. And with that money, I can really start building myself up. So from 2015 up to 2018, I was struggling to enter the market due to non-compliance. And I started, building myself up, doing a lot of training. I went to CEDA, who assisted me with ISO 9001 training. And then I went back to the mines and said, now I am ready. I understand the kind of quality that you are looking for and all those quality inspections that you need. I believe that I am ready. Sometimes as a woman, you feel that you can do everything and you are a risk taker. They ask you, are you ready? And I said, yes. I didn't, think about all these big projects that were going to come, after I had completed one or two, they wanted to test me with more. That time now, I started crying because I exhausted all my funds, trying to prove that I can really deliver to the best of, my ability. First of all, I had to train staff. I had to issue staff with proper PPE, which is the personal protective equipment. And coming from an HR background, I myself needed more business skills and training. So I went through a number of enterprise development programs and supply development program in order to equip myself with more knowledge about the industry. Then it came a time when the mine placed a very huge order on my company, and there were some delays, in terms of delivering that order. Because we are in the steel fabrication, there was now a shortage of steel, and as I was not doing the manufacturing in-house, I was outsourcing most of the work. I couldn't really answer the mine why I am delaying. I did explain to them that there is a shortage of steel in the industry, but they said to me, you need to have a backup plan. That is where I realized I need to now knock on more doors, look for more funding in order to do everything on my own, in order to be accountable to the mining houses. Then I went to one of these funding institutes from government, and they funded me. It was about 2 million. You'll think 2 million is a lot of money, but it was enough to buy small tools and equipment, and I had to use the money now to move into a bigger premises, which is a factory that is 2,000 square meters in Mokwase Industrial. Those were the previously dilapidated factories that were not used. So most of the money that I made from those previous orders, I used them to refurbish that workshop and to install all the electrical infrastructure that was required to make sure that the factory complies with the mining industry standards. Until then, there was a point where the mine needed to come and do an inspection. They came to the workshop and they saw that, you moved from a small workshop, now you are into a bigger facility, but unfortunately, you are still not meeting the requirements. After spending that 2 million rand on other things, including, fixing the roof of the factory that we are in, installing water, plumbing systems, I thought that, having refurbished the office space, the mine will be impressed by everything that I had done. But they told me that, you still lack proper lifting equipment, you still lack an industrial crane, which is like 5-ton or 10-ton crane. And what happens when there is no electricity? Because the area that we are in, sometimes there's a lot of load shedding. And in my workshop, when they moved around, they realized that I do not have an industrial generator to back me up when there is load shedding. I also saw that, I still need more funding. I needed an extra 8 million rand in order to meet all the requirements that the mine needed. It was a drawback for me, because that was almost at the time when the president was announcing level 5 COVID-19 lockdown. That meant after having put all my money into this workshop, making sure that it is compliant, now we had to stop operating. Now for the next 6 months, March 2020, up until August, we couldn't go into the mines. We couldn't market ourselves. And all the money went to waste because I had to now restart refurbishing the factory again to make sure that we meet the standards. And going back to the mine, they said to me, we gave you a contract. We gave you enough time to prepare yourself to deliver. There's many companies out there that can do the services that you are doing. But because we believed as a woman, you do have some technical challenges, you can come up with another solution to provide us the services. Unfortunately, in the next 6 months, if you are not ready, if you don't have that overhead crane, then we are going to take that contract away from you. So yeah, I started, going through some bit of depression, I must say, because I was always stressed. The bigger picture for me was making sure that I convinced the mind that I am capable of doing my own manufacturing instead of, outsourcing all the work. And the mind told me that the reason we want you to stand on your own is that we want to make sure that you are not a middleman, you are not fronting. But for me, the frustration was, as a woman, they shouldn't really look for all those things which they know it's impossible for me to raise within a short space of time. And I said to them, don't take away the contract, give me another chance. I'll look for a developmental partner, I'll collaborate with someone who can help me to deliver again. And guess what? June 2021, I had found someone. We signed an agreement, we started fabricating, and we delivered some few cars to the mines. And then, unfortunately, he was tested positive due to COVID. He passed away end of June this year. It was just a sudden death after we had signed up an agreement and we had plans how we are going to move Tebogo forward. But now I feel like I'm now 10 steps back because I thought I had now found a solution to really navigate through and make sure I deliver on this contract. But with the current passing of my partner, I'm back to square one. I went back to government and I said to them, listen, you funded me the 2 million. I used the money to refurbish the workshop and to buy the small tools and equipment, but I still need more money. Now I need 8 million. I need more money to install an overhead crane. I need more money to make sure the factory's got 3-phase electricity. And now the government is saying, we want to see your management accounts. We want to see your at least historical financials. And you can imagine, ever since I started my business, there's been a lot of setbacks, from the COVID to end of 2018, I lost my father. And then after 9 months, I lost my mother. Those were the pillars of my strength. As an entrepreneur, if you don't have a good support structure at home, then sometimes you lose focus. I feel like, as women, we need to be given more time. We need to get more support from government. And that being said, I want to be an example to other women who want to tap into the industry to say, don't give up, keep pushing. The doors will feel like they are closed, but somebody will open the doors for you. At the moment, I managed to get funding again for the overhead crane. We are busy now installing that overhead crane, and I believe that in 2 to 3 months, we will be ready to do our own in-house fabrication, and I can go back to the mine to say, you don't have to cancel my contract because now I have proper systems in place that I can run this contract. But for me, I've learned a lot throughout my whole, journey of being an entrepreneur and starting this engineering business, is that first of all, as an entrepreneur, you need to do proper research. Research about the type of industry that you are in, research about all the compliance that is required within that industry. And secondly, never rely on one supplier, never rely on one client, never rely on one source of income. Because for me, the lesson was, if I had not, delivered on time, chances were I could have lost that contract, I could have lost that client, and it meant the business was going, to collapse. because when I was building this business, I was focusing more on this client. But I am happy that they told me to fix 1, 2 things, which they are going to open opportunities for me with other mining houses, because now I understand what all the other mining houses are looking for. And as a woman entrepreneur, don't be afraid to ask for help, get mentorship, go through enterprise development programs, and always ask the relevant questions. And when you do apply for funding, don't rush into things. Write a list of all the things that you require for the business, so that when you finally get that funding, you don't have to go back to the funder and say, oh, I forgot to mention one thing, or I forgot to mention the third thing, because by that time you'll find that it will be now difficult to get the funding that you require. Just in closing, being a woman in engineering is the most amazing journey I've ever walked in. It's very challenging. I cry every day, but the rewards are fantastic. It's a very lucrative business. Once you can understand all the processes and all the systems, I believe that I am going to conquer the world. It's still a journey. We are still traveling it. And I would like to say to other entrepreneurs, especially women, as we celebrate Women's Month, I would like to give advice to the young women and all the women who want to tap into these male-dominated spaces. You must know that it comes with a lot of sacrifices. For me, I had to lose a partner. I'm a mother of 4. I don't spend a lot of quality time with my kids. And sometimes I cannot, attend family gatherings. So I realized this industry, you need to really know that you're going to focus on the business and making sure that your business is growing, because sometimes you need to network with your male counterparts. If you don't act like that, they feel like as a woman you're not ready. So for me, I believe that the only time that you can really conquer this is when you understand the industry, when you understand that sometimes you have to not be with your friends or with your family and be at the business, making sure that your business is growing. And also with the government, don't be, afraid of all the red tapes that are there. Keep pushing, keep explaining your business model so that they can understand what you're looking for. For me, it's been a very long journey, having to explain to everyone that I need this 8 million because I need to have a plasma cutter, I need to have industrial rolling and bending machines. And you find that the person that you are speaking to, they don't really understand the industry that you are in. So it's very important that when you talk to funders about your business, you must illustrate and demonstrate with also pictures, and so that they can understand. Invite them to the mine, they walk with you so that they can understand all your frustration. Sometimes they ask me, why do you need working capital? I need working capital because many of my competitors, especially white-owned companies, they have enough capital, to drive around in every mine to market for business. They need capital for diesel, they need capital for medicals, to make sure that your employees are working in a very safe environment. Because as women, we also invest in the community development. I want to make sure that the community that I work in, they also get empowerment opportunities. So in closing, I wish every woman to just, take a risk, start a business in engineering. Thank you.